to do it, or you had to learn the technology to do it. And just so many people who don't think that way, think about like life coaches and photographers and people who, you want to set up a sales funnel, but that's not kind of your wheelhouse. It can be super, super frustrating because you don't really want to learn how to be a sales funnel genius, right? Now, the other problem is that most business owners really don't understand the process. They don't understand how to take somebody, like a cold prospect, get them to opt in for a free giveaway, and then have them to take action to make a purchase. And so that lack of understanding creates an issue, right? Like if you don't know the technology and you're not really sure of the process, it's just not going to happen. The next thing is that it's just confusing, it's overwhelming, and it seems to take forever to set these things up. I can't even tell you how many clients I've had come to me who have literally been trying for years to get a sales funnel off the ground, and it just hasn't happened. And so if you have been in that situation, if you've experienced any of this, just know that you are not alone. It's not your fault. There's a good chance that if you're watching this, that you're not a super technical person, and that if you've been frustrated by this stuff, it's probably because your brain is, like you want to be an expert at what you're an expert about. And to sit down and learn how to build sales funnels for the next 3 years probably isn't real exciting to you, and it's probably not on your agenda. So let's talk about why it would be amazing for you to have this in your business. And if you already have it in place for your business, high five. It's something that is so incredibly difficult and time consuming for most people to set up. First of all, having this in your business, having a sales funnel in your business, is it does the selling for you. So a lot of people say, I hate selling. I feel so salesy. You don't feel salesy when emails are going out and selling for you automatically. So it completely takes that pressure off of you to be a salesman. All right. It creates a dependable passive income stream for you. That's really nice to be able to put it out there on the internet, put it on your blog, put it wherever your free giveaway is going to live, and let that passive income start flowing in. The next thing is that it can be scaled up. So let's say that you have a high-performing sales funnel in place. All you need to do is add traffic. So whatever that traffic source is, maybe you love Twitter, maybe you love Facebook, maybe you're a great blogger and really good at SEO, maybe you're a Facebook ads genius, whatever it is, no matter what your traffic source, all you need to do is apply more traffic, and you can actually infinitely scale your sales funnel so that you can bring in as much money as you need to from that sales funnel at that time. The other thing about sales funnels, especially in Ontraport, is that they can be duplicated really, really easily. Once you've got one set up, it's so easy. It's like the click of a button. It's copy this sales funnel, and you can create a brand new one anytime you want. So once you've got a process that's working for you, let's say you're somebody who creates coursework, right? Online courses or an online membership site where you're creating content. The minute you create new content, you can duplicate your sales funnel so that you can start selling that new content. So it really becomes a duplicatable process, which is so nice. The other thing that's awesome is that you can stop worrying about where your next dollar is going to come from. As business owners and entrepreneurs, we have to ride the ups and downs, those waves that come with having your own business. And so it's really nice to have something that is dependable, that can be making sales for you while you sleep. So if you feel a little bit excited about some of this stuff, I know I do, then you're going to love what we're going to do today. We're actually going to dig into my Ontraport account, and we're going to build a sales funnel that is going to just like make everything a lot easier. And if you stick around until the end, I'm going to show you exactly how you can basically cut and paste this sales funnel that I'm about to build right in front of you, take it and just install it directly into your business. Okay, I'm talking about cut and paste, but you have to stay to the end to get that. So before we dive in and I show you how to build a funnel, I wanted to introduce myself. In case you don't know who I am, my name is Dawn Mars, and I'm the founder of Mars Marketing. I've been in business for myself for 9 years, doing online marketing, building sales funnels, building online coursework, email marketing, you name it, I've been working on it. And I'm Ontraport certified. So these are just some of the reasons I wanted to let you know, like, I'm not just blowing smoke here. This is what I do for a living. This is not my part-time gig. This is my full-time business where I actually help clients to implement these things into their business, sell courses on how to implement it into your business, and have had a lot of success with this stuff. And so I'm really, really excited to share my knowledge with you today, because I know that if you take what you learn here today and apply it in your business, it can be wildly profitable for you. So that's why I get so excited about what I do. So with that, let's jump in and take a look at a simple sales funnel. All right, so here's how they work. And so I wanted to do this first just so that we have like a general overview of what we're going to build together today. All right, so the first thing that has to happen is you need to have a lead capture page. You have to, or a pop-up on your website if you want. Today we're going to use a lead capture page, but it's up to you. You need a way to capture leads, right? To get them onto your sales process. Immediately after they opt in, what's going to happen is they're going to be taken to a thank you page, which is also a sales page for your product. Okay, this would probably be your front end product, probably something that is sort of like a low cost offer. Generally speaking, it's between the $7 and the $47 price point. Now, if you ask me why the sevens, right? A lot of people say like, why is it 47 or 97? It's been proven to convert better, and that's why. So if you want to set your prices at $20 as opposed to 17 or 30 as opposed to 27, that is totally fine. But what we're talking about here on this sales page, what's going to be for sale is a low cost offer, okay, an entry level offer. Next, what's happening in the background is immediately when somebody gives you their name and their email address, they're going to be given an immediate welcome email. All right, and that email, as they read through it, is actually going to direct them to another sales page. So what's interesting about this is the first one, okay, so when they've entered their name and email, what happens to the visitor is that they are immediately redirected to a thank you /sales page. So what that means is at the top of the page, it's going to acknowledge what they've just asked to receive. So it could say something like, hey, I just wanted to thank you so much for downloading my free report. That's going to show up in your inbox in about 5 minutes. In the meantime, I've got a product that I think you're really, really going to love. Go ahead, read through this page, see if it's for you. All right? So I hope you understand. All we're doing with that thank you is acknowledging that in their email inbox, they're going to receive the link to download their free thing or to see the free video, whatever it is you've promised. Okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, in the welcome email, you're going to send them back to the sales page again. You're going to deliver what you promised always, but then you're going to send them to a sales page. And the reason that it says sales page versus thank you sales page is that this one is not going to still be saying, hey, thanks for downloading, right? This one's just going to have the sales information on it. So I hope all of that makes sense. The next thing that's going to happen is if they click through from the sales page, it's going to take them to a checkout page. Same thing if they're on the sales page and they go to the checkout page, okay? It's going to be to the same checkout page where they can actually check out, enter their payment information, and from there, they're going to be taken to a new buyer welcome page. All right, so everything in blue, bright blue, these are pages that we need to create, and anything that has pink or like fuchsia, those are emails that need to be sent. So next what's going to happen is that immediately after somebody checks out, they're going to be stopped from receiving sales emails. You don't want them to continue to receive emails asking them to buy something that they've already purchased. It's a really, really bad customer experience. So in your system, you need to make sure that those sales emails stop. And then what happens is that those new customer welcome emails start coming immediately. Okay, that tells them how to access their product, welcomes them to the family, makes them feel like they've made a really good buying decision. So that's what's supposed to happen. And then a couple of days later, you want to, just do a check-in. You're going to have a few follow-up customer emails. So I just wanted to put these in here kind of as placeholders so that you understand there's going to be a continuation of this conversation once a person buys. But you want to make sure that the first couple of days you really take good care of them, make them feel awesome. You might want to have one that's 30 days out that, checks in again. That's completely up to you. But in our process, this is what we're going to set up. Now let's say, for example, that a person didn't buy the first day. So what's going to happen is we're going to continue to send them emails. So I've set here that we've got a day 2 reminder. It's going to send them back to the sales page. And what I would recommend is that you would send up to 5 emails. So 3 to 5 emails that are going to keep talking to them, continuing that conversation and telling them about this great product that you have that's very related to whatever they opted in for. All right. And all of those emails, there's going to be a continuation. You can go for 3 to 5 days with the same topic. You're going to keep sending them back to that sales page so that they can go through this process. All right. So take a mental snapshot of this, or if you have screen capture software, then take a snapshot of this. And what we're going to do now is flip over to live real time, and we're actually going to build it in Ontraport. So here's a disclaimer. As I'm recording this, Ontraport is actively getting ready to release a brand new update to the interface, and it's going to look different. So once that happens, I'm going to put a link in the description so that you can click there and go over and see the new and updated version of this. Okay, because I want to make sure that, I didn't want to delay things because I don't know when this new release is going to come out. But as soon as they release the update, I will make sure to re-record so that you can see it with the new interface, just so that, you've got the right guidance. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over and log into my Ontraport account, and we are going to build this thing. So I will see you in there. Okay, so here we are in Ontraport. Normally when you log in, you're brought right to your accounts page. I'm going to make this big. So if you took a mental snapshot, then you will remember that the first step, and I'm going to switch back so you can see it, the first step is the lead capture page. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is create that lead capture page. And we do that by going down to sites and landing pages. And you can see right now I have no landing pages for this simple Ontraport sales funnel. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new landing page. And in Ontrapages, I can create a new page. And we will go into the page templates in a moment once it loads, usually. Okay, so we can view by type. We want to get a lead capture page. And then basically you're just going to pick one that appeals to you. I'm going to just grab one that has a form right on it. You can see they've got lots of different templates that you can choose from. This one's pretty basic. If you want to preview it, you can do that, and it'll pop up and show you what the template looks like. It's a little hard to see on this one, but there you go. So this one's asking for first name and email. I always ask for first name. There's a lot of, there have been a lot of studies on, whether or not it matters in your email follow-up if you use the first name, if you use that personalization, and there is a lot of evidence to suggest that it actually increases sales. So I always ask for first name. That's up to you. You can always remove it if you want, but I'm going to select this template. And every now and then you're going to see that a third-party designer has done that. It's free, generally speaking, to use them. Sometimes there's a fee. This one's free. I'm going to agree and select it. And for everything in this funnel, I'm going to name it because I called it the Simple Ontraport Sales Funnel. It's going to be SOSF, okay? And then I'm going to call it opt-in. So anything that I'm going to name in here, it's really, really important that you do this in Ontraport, that you have really good naming. It's going to allow you to just keep everything organized. So I'm going to call this SOSF for Simple Ontraport Sales Funnel. And that's what we're going to do. So the other thing that I do when I'm working on Ontraport is I usually go full screen, and that gives me a bigger area to work on. Right now I'm recording on a 13-inch MacBook Pro. So if you're on a bigger screen, it might look a little different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things on this page. All of the pages and the pop-ups kind of act the same way, and so understanding where these things are is really going to make your life easy. First of all, you got page fonts, all right? And you can, the page fonts are already set up on this page, but if I wanted to change them, I could either click on this little pencil icon, and then I could change what I was using here for my header. That header font isn't actually being used anywhere on this page, so you can't see it updating. But let's see, I think header 2 is being used. So if I change it, you'll see the change is automatically made here. I can also change the font size. So if I want it bigger, if I wanted the line height, usually you want your line height about the same height as your font. That's just a little design tip because it keeps it the proper space apart. Then if you want it to be a little bit heavier, that'll make it more bold. This is an awful font. I'm just going to say this font is not working for what we're doing here. So let's change it to Lobster, and I'm going to click on Save. Okay, now if you want font suggestions, because you're not a designer, you can click on Font Suggestions, and it's going to give you some ideas about fonts that actually work really well together. Okay, so you can just kind of scroll through like this, and you'll see them. Now I'm finding it really hard to read this with these current colors, and you probably are too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to the colors. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of this. And I'm going to go up to the colors here, and you can see that these are the selected colors. So this color here is not quite black, which is why it's not showing up properly. So you can either go in here and change it, like we could update this color and we could just do black. Okay, it's going to pop up and it's going to allow me to pick any color that I want. So if I wanted to switch it to black, then I could do that. And so it's going to make things easier to see. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this, and I'm just going to look at color suggestions. What Ontraport has done is allowed their designers to set up colors that actually look really good together. And on some of the pages, like this one has a picture in the background, but some of them don't. And these colors look really good together. But you can see when I hover over, it's changing the color of the button. It'll change the color of the font. It's not right now, but it will. So if we found one that was a little bit nicer, let's see. Let's go with something a little brighter. Maybe a nice bright pink, orange. How about this one? We'll do that. I'm going to click on save, and you can see that that button has been changed. Now, if you wanted to have a bigger button, one of the things that you can do is actually go into your page fonts, and you'll see that there's a button font right here. I'm going to change this, and I'm going to change the font size. I'm going to put it up to 26. And I'm going to put my line height up to 28. Font weight a little higher. And you can see that it's starting to make the button just a little bit bigger. So I'm going to click on save and leave it there. There's some other things you can do here with your page width. We're going full page, but you could change that if you wanted to. I would suggest you leave it at full. Page background, you could change what the background is. This right now is a background image. If you wanted to just have a color back there, you could do it like that. Okay, so you can see it instantly changes it. And then if you have a transparent background, it's like having a white background basically. So what we're going to do is just leave this background like this, I think. Yeah. Now what we need to do to make this work, first of all, we need to fix this font. I'm not really sure why we don't have a nice dark color. Every now and then that happens. And once you know your way around here, it gets really, really super easy to manipulate all of these things. So the font, we can change the color right here. And I'm going to go down. I'm going to make it black so it stands out nice. And the same thing here because it's not standing out. So we'll make that black. And no matter what you're doing, when you're designing any kind of a page, you want to make sure that people can read the text. So if you're going to use an image in the background like this, you just want to make sure that your text really stands out, all right? So I'm going to click out of that. We're going to collect first name and email. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into form settings. There's a couple of things that have to happen here. Now, if you are in Canada, I would definitely recommend that you do double opt-in. There are some very, very strong specific laws about double opt-ins for in Canada. So that's all I'll say about that because I'm not a lawyer. I typically only use single opt-ins. And then what I do is I would create a landing page. Okay, so when a person opts in, I want them to be taken to a specific page, right? Let's switch back over so you can see. I want to take them to this thank you sales page. Okay, so we need to create that page. So I'm going to go first. We're going to do this in just a minute. But the first thing that I want to do is actually add people to a sequence so that they start getting these emails immediately, right? We want them to get an immediate welcome email and a day 2 reminder. So the first thing I'm going to do is create a sequence. And I'm going to create a new sequence because this is a brand new sales funnel that we're creating. And again, because I called it the simple Ontraport sales funnel, it's going to be simple Ontraport sales funnel. Okay, and this is going to be lead magnet delivery. So that's the lead magnet delivery. I'm going to save that as a draft because I'm not going to go in and create those emails just yet. Okay, so that's saved as a draft. And I want to make sure that I receive notifications. So I would put my email address right here. Okay, so you just put your email address in here so that you receive notifications if you want notifications of leads. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to select a landing page. I'm going to actually save this first. Let's go to I'm just going to go to default so it'll let me save. I'm going to save it. And then I'm just going to make sure that we have this page saved. Because if you go and you start messing around with other pages without saving, that's just not a good idea with Ontraport. So let's go back into form settings. And I'm going to go to use this landing page. So picture somebody enters their name and their email. Now we want to send them to the thank you page. So I'm going to create a new landing page. Again, I'm going to use the same naming, SOSF. And this one is going to be called thank you / sales page, just like on this page. Okay, so we're building exactly what we have. We've got the lead capture page, we called it opt-in, and the thank you page. So I'm going to save this and edit it. And you can see it's going to start creating a new page. So we've created one already. I'm going to create the next one. And you could copy from existing if you already have one that looks great, but I'm going to create a new one from scratch just so you can see exactly how you would do it, especially if you have a new Ontraport account and you don't have anything saved yet. So I'm going to go to view by type again, and this time I want a thank you page. Makes it really easy, right? So I'm going to just grab a super simple page here. You can see there's a few of them. We're going to go with this one. Again, you can preview it if you want to and kind of scroll through and see what that looks like. I'm going to select this template. Now, the other thing too that you could do, since we are using this as a sales page, is we could actually create a sales page instead of doing it this way. We would just go straight to the sales page section. But you can always add any number of blocks that you want to this page. I'm going to get rid of this color because we already chose a color. So you can see that these colors are the pre-chosen ones. I'm going to scroll down. I'm going to go to color suggestions and see if I can remember which ones we used. I think we used this one. And I'll save it. So now if I don't like this crazy color, you just hover over and maybe you want this one instead, or maybe this one, whatever you like. So I'm going to go with the bright blue. Again, I'm going to full screen it, and I'll say your last payment was successful. You can actually put the invoice number on here. And what I'm going to do is go into edit this. I'm going to click on edit. And now you'll see that you have different options up here. So we've got block colors, we've got background again, so you could change the background. We could change the content width. I'm going to leave it at regular, it's 100%. And then block spacing. So you can see there's a lot of space above and below the block. So watch what happens here when I do this. Okay, so if you want to make a little bit less space, this is how you do it. And then hit save. Since we are not actually, they haven't paid for anything, I'm just going to hit the edit button here because we want to edit this block. And we don't want to say your payment was successful. What we want to do is we want to say, thank you, your download, let's say your free download is on its way to your inbox. Before you go, check out this amazing offer. Now, I'm going to just tell you right now, this is not a course on copywriting. This is not actually the way I would say it. I would probably say something like your free download is on its way to your offer. It'll be there in the next 5 minutes. Now, before you go, I've got something really awesome to share with you, blah, blah, blah. This is not a copywriting course. All that I want you to understand is that whatever you promise them, you need to acknowledge that it's coming and that you're delivering it by email. Okay, that's what has to happen. So that's what this is here for. I'm just going to hit enter here. And I think that this is actually a little bit too much space again, so I'm going to just compress that a bit. And the reason is that I want them to be able to see the sales page below. All right, so I'm going to save that and click on done. And then down here, I can start, having a sales page. So I can say add block, and you could have like, let's do this one because it's got a nice headline. I'm going to change this again to be a different color. And you'd have like a headline to sell whatever it is that you're selling. Let's say 5 secrets to a perfect offer. All right, that is going to be what we're going to offer here. I'm going to just go and I'm going to save this. Now see, there's a couple elements here that I don't want. I just want the headline. So if you can see over on the side here, you've got switches. I'm just going to turn them off. I don't need a button. If I did, well, let's keep one. And this one is actually going to be the buy button, okay? And let's call it, instead of buy, let's say get instant access. So now that we're going to have a buy button, what we need to do is actually link it to a checkout page. So I'm going to save this first. And of course, we're going to want to have this block spacing is way too big on this one, so I'm going to change it. I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to make the bottom a little smaller. That was fine. I'm going to save it. And then you could start putting in, you know, text about your offer. So you could put in, when you go into blocks, you've got all kinds of things in here, but let's just pick, we could do like a product details one. So if you wanted to list out some of your product details, you could use this one. And you can see it just added a couple of bullet points, and it's going to add an image in here. And this could also go to the checkout page. And then you could add another block maybe that would be your pricing options. If you had pricing options, in this situation we're just going to have one pricing option, so I'm not going to have that on here. But you can add all kinds of stuff. You could even have your order form right on this page if you wanted to. It would actually make it a little bit simpler. So why don't we do that, since we just want people to order anyways. I think that's what we'll do. If that's okay with you, I'm going to make your lives easier. We're going to put the order form right on the page with the offer. So I'm just going to grab one of these. You've got a couple of different options for checkout pages. I kind of like this one that got the side by side. It's a little shorter. And so I'm going to pick that. And I'm going to put one more block here. And at this time I'm going to put in a text block. And I'm going to scroll down just a little bit till I find the text block I want. And this is another one that has a lot of white space, so I'm going to get rid of it. And maybe 20. Save. And this one, I want to just give a call to action. I want people to buy. Enter your info below to get instant access to our amazing product or service, whatever it is that you're selling. Okay, so I'm going to actually get rid of everything else because I don't need these call to action buttons. I'm going to save that and say done. So now we've got everything on one page. I'm going to just lessen this block spacing again. And click on done. Okay, so I want to go back over here because I want you to understand, first of all, one second here. There's a lot of white space on this block too. And this is sort of because I'm building from scratch. You can just grab a sales page and it'll make your life a lot easier. So I'm going to just click that closed. And since we don't need anyone, clicking buttons at this point, we can actually turn off the button text, okay? And I'm going to turn off 100% secure because we're not asking them to opt in for anything. And then I'm going to click the done button, go up here to this block, and I'm going to turn off the button because I don't actually need a button, right? We're getting them to go to the checkout page right here. So this is starting to shape up to be pretty awesome. Now, something that we need to do is click on the save button. Always in Ontraport, you want to click save or you will lose your work and you will get frustrated, believe me. Ask me how I know. So we're going to let this save. And then if we go back to our diagram, right? So what we've done actually is we've coupled the checkout page. The checkout page is actually going to be on the thank you page and it's going to be on the sales page. Now what's going to happen is that when they check out, they're going to be taken directly to the buyer welcome page. Let's flip back over and see how this is going with the save. Okay, so we've got our thank you page saved, and I'm just going to edit this too, and I'm going to put in here so you can see this is just where you would put your logo. So you can click on change image, And you can upload your logo into here. I'm sure I have a logo that I can upload. You just browse your computer. It's going to open up all of your stuff. Okay, so we've got this new image, and I'm going to select the image. That is enormous, and I don't want it that big, but I'm going to click on Save anyways, and click Done. And I'm going to just scroll through so you can kind of see different things that you can do with your logo. Here, it's not what I want it to look like. So in this case, I'm going to add a block. I'm going to go to Image. Man, you're learning everything here today. And I'm going to grab a smaller image block and click on here. I'm going to go to Change Image, and I'm going to select my logo, select that image, and you see how it's getting tiny. And then I'm going to go to block spacing, and for some reason the block spacing is just going crazy tonight. And now you can see that I've got it's a little bit smaller, and so I'm going to save that, and this one is going to get out of here. So I just click the little trash can. I can either click it over here or I could click it up here, and I'm just going to delete that. Okay, so now I've got my logo at the top. I've got the thank you. I'm acknowledging what they downloaded, and then we've got our 5 secrets to a perfect offer. Then you can put your product image in here. You can put all of your bullet points, and then in here we want to have like a little bit of a different color, I think, just so it stands out a bit. And so enter your info below to get instant access to our amazing product or service. Okay, so this is where they can enter their billing information and where they can actually purchase the product. Now, if you're like me, I don't actually ship very often, so I usually get rid of the shipping information. In order to do that, you would just click on the edit button, and you'll be able to see, like when you hover over billing information, for example, you can see it over here on the left-hand side. So I'm going to get rid of the shipping header because I don't care about shipping information. I'm going to get rid of the shipping fields because that's going to make the less fields for them to fill out, which is going to make sure that more people get through the process. Now, if you wanted people to be able to pay with PayPal, you can turn on PayPal. And I don't have the PayPal payment gateway in this dummy account that I have, so we're not going to be using PayPal for this tutorial, but you can if you are using it. The other thing that I don't like having in here in billing fields is you'll notice where it says a separate shipping address. If I'm not shipping anything, I'm just going to turn it off. All right. Another thing that you might want to get rid of is up here is company name. That's another field that's in there that you might not necessarily need. And if you don't, then you just toggle it off so that you don't have to collect it, and then just click on the done button. So what you've done is essentially just make the form a little bit more compact. You're asking for less information. That's going to mean that more people actually complete the checkout process. Okay, so now what we need to do is actually, set up the product. So you can see here we've got form settings. That's going to be important in a minute. And we've got payment settings. So I'm going to click on payment settings. And in here, we've got no products. So I'm going to click to add or edit products. And if you've already created products, you're going to see a bunch of products in here. But since I haven't created the product yet, I'm going to click on create new. And this one, I'm going to call this simple Ontraport sales funnel, just so that we can stay consistent with what we're talking about. Or we can, let's call it your amazing product. All right, this is going to be your amazing product that we're going to sell. Looks like I already had one. So there's a couple of things that you can do in here. You can add a trial period. You can make it into a subscription. You can offer a payment plan. You can allow the buyer to change the quantity. Like if they wanted to buy, like if you're selling mugs or something. I don't really use that feature very often. You can add shipping and packing slips. I also don't use that feature that often because I don't ship anything. You can insert a coupon code, which is really a popular thing to do. You can do that if you want. Or if you have made a mistake, you can remove the item. Okay, so I've just removed the item. I'm going to add on, I had your amazing product already. I guess I did it for another demo. And so I'm going to put that in here. And then for the price, I'm going to set the price for this at nope, I'm not. I'm going to set it at $47 because we said it was a low priced item. And I'm going to click on done. Okay, so you can see here that I've got my product that I said I'm selling. It's got the product price, the total, and then you can purchase it. Now, what we need to do is, if you were shipping, you could add a shipping method. We're not doing that with this. Then you need to add a payment gateway. So I'm going to click on add a payment gateway, or add a payment method. And from here, I'm just going to click on my dummy gateway because I don't have a real gateway hooked up to this dummy account. Yours would probably be, Stripe, Authorize.net, PayPal, if that's what you're using. Now, if you're collecting taxes, you'd add a tax option, and then you've got, you could create a fancy invoice if you want. We're just going to go with the default for this tutorial. So I'm going to click on save. So now the person's actually going to be able to buy this product. This is actually set up exactly the way it's supposed to be. But what we need to look at is form settings. We want to make sure that they actually get the product that they're asking for. So again, I'm going to leave it at single opt-in, and I would recommend that when a person is purchasing a product that you typically are going to leave it at single opt-in. They just bought something from you. They want to receive that product. So if you put another barrier in their way, you could end up with more customer service related issues. So again, I'm going to go down here and we're going to create a new sequence. This time we're going to call this simple Ontraport sales funnel. And this is going to be, let's just flip over to our diagram. We've got new buyer welcome. So we're just going to call it new buyer welcome. This is going to be the new buyer welcome sequence. And I'm going to save that as a draft. And again, well, you know what? This is a perfect learning experience. So we don't want to put it in here. This is just if a form gets filled. So when it comes to checkout pages, forms can get filled. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they were successfully filled, right? That the credit card went through successfully. So I'm actually going to take this sequence out of here. But I've already created the sequence, so it exists. So I'm going to go down to conditional rules. And only if the payment is successful, meaning only if the credit card is successfully billed, then we're going to add a rule. And the rule name is going to be add sequence. And then I'm going to name the sequence just like I did. What do we call it again? SOSF. I think we called it new buyer welcome. And you can see why having a map like what we created in the beginning is really key to doing this. So basically, if the payment is successful, then do this, okay? So some people worry about this. If this is true, you don't need anything here. What you need to do is come down here and say add contact to sequence, and then we're going to type in SOSF because we know that we already created it. This is going to be new buyer welcome. And I'm going to click on save. Now you can take it a step further if you want to and add a rule that sends an email if their payment has failed. That's a little bit advanced for this tutorial. It would become hours and hours long, but certainly something that we can look at doing a tutorial on in the future. That's where you would add that rule. Again, this is where you want to put in your notifications. So if you want to get notified of a new sale, then you would put me@gmail.com, put in your email address, select your user that you want it to be assigned, and click the save button. Let me just make sure. Now you notice up here in the opt-in settings, we say send contacts here. We're going to use the default thank you page just so that we can save it, but what we really need to do is send them to the new buyer welcome page, right? Everything in blue is a page. So now what we've done is we've created the lead capture page, we've created the thank you page, we've created the checkout page. We actually combined the two a little bit, and now we're creating the new buyer welcome page in just a minute. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to click on the done button, and then I'm going to save the page again. I cannot stress enough how important it is to save often, or you will get irritated by the fact you lose your work. All right, so we've done that. I'm going to go click on this form again. I'm going to go back into form settings, and I'm going to click on use this landing page. So I'm going to select a landing page, and I'm going to create a new landing page. This one is going to be SOSF, okay, naming it, and I want to name it new buyer welcome page. And this time I'm going to click on save and edit. And it's going to go here and ask me, do I want to create a new page? But in this case, what we could do is we could start copying from our existing, right? Because now we've got a little bit of branding happening. And so we could take from the opt-in page or the thank you sales page. So let's do that. I'm going to take it from the thank you page. Now this is, they've actually made a purchase, you remember. So instead of saying thank you, your free download is on its way, we can edit this and say, your order has been processed successfully and your product access details are on their way to your inbox. Please allow up to 15 minutes for delivery. It doesn't typically take 15 minutes, but when you're doing payment processing, it can take a little bit longer than if they were just opting in. Okay, so I usually put that disclaimer. It cuts down on customer service headaches if people just kind of relax a little bit. So that's just a little extra tip for you when you're working with credit card processing. So I'm going to save that. And then down here, you could leave this stuff. You wouldn't want to leave it the way that it is. But you could give them their product access details in here. You know, if it was a website that they needed to visit, or if it was a free video that you wanted to deliver, then what you could do is have all of your video blocks. What I'm going to do is actually just delete these because they're not helpful. Well, you know what? Let's just use it. Let's just use it and go full screen. And maybe this is like the free video. Here's your free video. And I'll click the save button and done. And now I'm going to delete this because I don't need bullet points and information on the product. And I'll delete this. But you can see how this is awesome because it actually kept all the branding, it kept all the same fonts, the same colors, all that stuff. So I'm going to just keep deleting all of this. And I'll just leave that little bit. I'm going to add a block, and then you could go down and find the video block. Stick that on there, and now the free video is there. Again, block spacing for some reason is wacky tonight. So I'll just leave it at 20 and save and save. So I don't know if you noticed, but here on when I'm editing the video, you've got a spot where you can put the video embed code. So that would be like if you're using Wistia, YouTube, Vimeo, any of those video hosting companies, that's where you would put your embed code. Now, Ontraport also is cool because you can actually host your videos with Ontraport. I don't think I have any. I've got a demo video in here, so I could just click that, and then the Ontraport hosted video would be in here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the embedded video. I'm going to click on save, and then I'm going to click on save again. So now we've got, you know, we're delivering. Okay, so what it's doing is taking us back to the thank you page, and you can see now it says use this landing page, new buyer welcome. So that's exactly what we want it to do. And we've got the successful rules, and we've got the routing. So I'm going to click on save, and I'm going to click on done. Okay, so we've created all of the pages that we need. Save that one more time. So we created all the pages that we need. Now, when you are using Ontraport, there are a couple of different ways that you can publish your pages. Okay, I want to actually back myself out here so you can see the pages we created together. So I've got it sorted so that you can only see the ones that are in this sales funnel. And all you do to do that is you create a group. And if I manage the groups, you can see here that anything that has a name that contains SOSF is going to show up in this list. So that's why it's so important to name things properly, because once you have hundreds of pages, it gets kind of hard to look at your Ontraport account. So if you can like create kind of clumps of pages like this, it makes it really easy when you're working on a sales funnel. So we've created these 3 pages, but you can see there's no domain. You can either host them yourself. You know, you can use the WordPress plugin and put them on your WordPress website, or you can let Ontraport host them. Now, when it comes to checkout pages, if you don't have a secure domain, then you can't process credit card payments through that domain. If you don't know what that means, then you probably don't have it. So what I would recommend is that when you're just starting out is that you host all of your pages with Ontraport. Okay, and I want to show you how to do that now before we start looking at the email part, because it's really, really important. So first I'm going to click on the opt-in page that we created, and this is going to make it so I can actually test it live in front of you, and you can see how it works. So I'm going to go up to the publish button, and I'm going to leave it as use our domain. Now when I'm using it, I use Mars Marketing, and you're going to see it says invalid URL. Then I'm going to go to select, and I'm going to use a standard domain. So I'm just going to go to pages.ontraport.com or .net. These are standard domains. So this is good for opt-ins or any page where people don't have to process credit cards. All right, so I'm just going to call this SOSF opt-in. And it says the URL is unavailable. I don't know why it says that. It's just going to give me a hard time tonight. So let's just say demo, Mars Marketing demo. And we're going to leave it at respond. And I'm going to click save and publish. And I'm just going to click save again, even though it was just saved. I'm a little crazy for the save. Okay, so you can see now that there's a domain associated with this. So that actually means that exists now on the internet. Other people could potentially find it, not likely, but it exists. Now I want to do the same thing with the thank you and sales page. So what you want to do is always keep this part of the domain, right? The Mars Marketing demo. So it would be your business name. You always want to keep it the same. So I'm going to go up to thank you and sales page. And again, we're going to click on the publish button. I'm going to call it Mars Marketing Demo. And this one actually needs to be secure because it has a checkout page. So I'm going to go to securecheckout.net, and we're going to go SOSF checkout. No, this was thank you sales page. Okay. So I'm going to click on save and publish. I just want to make sure that we keep everything super duper clear so we know exactly what pages these are. And I'm going to save that again. Now, if you ever want to take a look at these pages you've published after you've done that, you can click on publish. You can click preview, but it's not actually going to show you with the link. So I'm going to click on this link right here, and it's going to open in a new tab. And you can see this is my Sandbox account, so I've got a big black bar. Yours will not have that. So this is actually what the page is going to look like. Okay, that looks great. I don't know what you think, but I'm not a designer. I'm not by any means a designer, and I think that this looks great. I've got the checkout page here, and we've got the product set up. People could actually purchase it. Now I'm gonna hold my horses a little bit, and we're actually gonna test this in a minute. But let's go back into the Ontraport account, and I'm gonna cancel out of this, and then hit the back button. Now, if you get this and it says your changes will not be saved, always hit cancel and hit save. Just rule of thumb. And that'll happen anytime that you've done anything. If you've clicked on anything in Ontraport, it's going to give you that prompt. So now we've got the new buyer welcome. I'm just going to click on this new buyer welcome, and we're going to host all of the pages. So I know this is a bit repetitive, but we want to be able to test our work. So let's click on publish. Mars Marketing Demo. Remember, always keep it the same. This one now can be respond because this doesn't actually have to be, they're not checking out, they're not processing credit card information, so it doesn't have to be a secure domain. And this is going to be SOSF, what did we call it? Buyer welcome, new buyer welcome. And we will click save and publish. Usually you wouldn't want to say new buyer welcome, you would use something like success, okay? Just something along those lines. So I'm going to click the save button. So now I want to draw your attention back to something else. And it's over here on our diagram. So you remember we had the lead capture page and the thank you / sales page. We combined that with the checkout page, and then it goes to the new buyer welcome. But when we send people to a sales page, we don't actually want it to say, hey, thank you for opting in, right? Because it could be on day 2, day 3, day 5. We don't want to send them back to that place that says, thank you, your download is on its way. What we want is a standalone sales page. So in Ontraport, that's really super easy. So we're going to take this thank you sales page, we're going to put a little checkbox beside it, and that's going to bring down this action panel, and we're going to click on copy. Okay? So we're going to copy that page, and we're going to rename it immediately. That's the first thing that we're going to do, always. Otherwise, you'll forget. And you don't want a bunch of pages called copy of. So this is going to be SOSF, and this time we're going to call it sales page. Okay, so let's just get rid of this. And now what we're going to do is just get rid of this block. So you can either hit the delete button, or over here, when you're on the banner, you just shut it off. And so we might want to change the color of this so it stands out a bit more. That looks pretty good. Again, we're going to want to publish this page. And remember, too, that this is going to be a secure domain. So I'm going to go to secure checkout, and this is going to be SOSF sales page. Click save and publish. And what's really cool about actually cloning the page is that, remember that we created this form, this checkout page. When I click on to edit the form, and then I go into the form settings or payment settings, everything's already set up. So your amazing product, if we scroll down, you can see that the item is already the same in here, and that all of the payment gateway and everything is exactly the same. So I'll just save that. And then in form settings, it's also exactly the same. So it doesn't matter if they buy on this page, you know, days later, or if they bought on the first page that had the like, thank you for, you know, downloading this stuff. It's going to take them to the same new buyer welcome. Just like in the diagram here, whether they buy on this page or whether they buy on this page, it's all going to end up in the same place. Okay, it's very exciting because we just saved a ton of time, right? Just because all we had to do was clone the page. Okay, cool. So that's all done. Got all our rules. I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it again because we always want to keep our stuff good and saved. Okay, so we have created all of the welcome pages that we needed to create. We've created, and you can see there's already a visit. So it's actually tracking your sales. It's going to track conversions. And it tracks visits, all that good stuff. So now, before we test, what we need to do is actually go and create the emails. So to do that, what we want to do is go into contacts, and then I'm going to go into sequences. Now, you might be tempted to go into messages, but we're actually going to work at the sequence level because we know that our follow-ups, we've got 2 sequences that we created already. We've got the lead magnet delivery, which is the first one that's going to go out. Just like on here. Okay, this is the lead magnet delivery sequence in pink. And over here on this side, we have got, what did we call it? The new buyer welcome sequence. So we've got to start sending, first of all, this one actually has to stop these sales emails from happening. So I'll show you that in a minute. And then it's got to send out some nice new buyer welcomes. So to do that, we're going to start with the lead magnet delivery first. It's going to ask what kind of a sequence do you want? Is it a step sequence or a date sequence? In this case, it is a step sequence, and that's because every single person who enters this sequence is going to get it immediately, whereas a date sequence would be based on dates. So let's go to create new. And the first thing that we want to do is put a rule into the sequence. And what we're going to do is we're going to call this rule add tag, because you always want to tag people. And then what we're going to do is we're going to skip if this is true, because we always want to tag them, and then we're going to say then do this. So start typing tag, and you'll see add contact to tag, and then we're going to select a tag. Now, I created the tags ahead of time. SOSF, I think you probably could have guessed that, and I'm going to say SOSF lead. Okay, so that's what I'm going to tag them with, and I'm going to name this up here. SOSF lead. Perfect, that's all we have to do. Now you can click on the rule up here, and it will close. Okay, that's all you need to do for that rule step. Next, we need to put in an email step. And we want this schedule to go out 0 days, which means immediately, and send immediately. And we don't have an email that we've created, so we're going to create a new email. We're going to go into Ontramail for this one, because it's going to make it easier. And I'm going to say start from scratch. Now, if you see, a template in here that you like, then that's amazing. I find that just plain for my business is better, and actually plain seems to deliver better too. So as long as you're okay with plain, that's cool. And that's not just Ontraport, that's kind of across the board. So let's just call this SOSF. And then we're going to call this day 0, or you could call it welcome. Okay, let's just call this welcome because that's what we called it on our thing. So I'm going to add a block. So you can see it's just exactly the same as if you were building a page. And what I'm going to do is scroll down, and what I want is just a text block because I just want it really basic. It takes a minute to load. I'm going to grab this one because it's the most basic block that there is. And I'm going to click on edit. I'm going to click on the paragraph. I'm going to turn the header off because I don't even want a header. And in here, I'm just going to start typing my message. Okay, so I'm going to delete what's in here, and I'm going to say hi. And then I'm going to click on merge fields and say first name. Like I said, we personalize everything. Hi, first name. Thanks so much for requesting my free guide to awesomeness. Okay, so we will call this whatever your product is. Awesome to awesome sauce. Okay, we'll go with that. And then what you want to do is say click here to download the guide. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that in just a second. If you are anything like my other clients, you would also love this. Click here to check it out. Okay, now this is where we want to take them and send them back to that sales page, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just highlight this. This is where I want them to click, and then I'm going to put link. This is what's amazing about Ontraport and having an all-in-one system. What we want to do is send them to an Ontraport landing page because we've already created the page we want to send them to, right? So I'm going to start typing SOSF. I want to send them to the sales page, right? Easy as that. And you can decide if it's going to be a new window. Yes, it's going to be a new window. You're going to click OK. And now that's linked to that sales page exactly where you want to send them. Now, the other thing that's cool is, like, let's say that you did have a guide that you wanted to send them. I'm just going to highlight it again. You could click on this link here, and you can see here that we would be able to actually send them to the download link for the free guide. So I'm going to go to Ontraport hosted file, and then you could click on select file. And if you've got attachments, which I just happen to have one, you could click on this link and scroll down. You just need to click beside it, and then you can say select. And now that will link. I click OK. Now this would link to the download. So they'd be able to download their guide. It's all hosted right inside of Ontraport. Very cool. And then right here is going to take them to the sales page. So again, not a copywriting course. If you're like anything like my other clients, you would also love this. Click here to check it out. That's a little bit of clickbaiting. You don't really want to do that. Tell people why they want to click it. Okay. Again, so excited you decided to download my free giveaway. Please hit reply and let me know you received it. Much love, Dawn. Okay, would be your name here. Now I'm going to click on save. It's a very simple email. Again, you can change the block colors, you can change the black background, you can change your email fonts, you can change your email colors. All right, everything is exactly the same as it is on the page, just with email. Now in settings, you want to change a couple of things here. You want to make sure that the email, just leave that contact owner is fine. Send from default, or I'm just going to say default on mine, but you're going to have an email address here that you can send from. Subject is going to be your free download as requested. Cool. So what I'm going to do in the header here is this is what shows up kind of like in their email inbox, that little blurb that they see before they open it. I'm so excited to give you access to this amazing free download. Okay, so I want it to say something compelling to make them open it, and then I'm going to say copy from HTML and say yes. So that if they've got some kind of like old crummy email provider, then it'll still show up. So see, with my spam score, it looks good. I'm at 0. Email looks good. You can preview what the email looks like. You can send a test email to yourself, which I would actually recommend, so you can test your links, and then click on save. The only thing that's different about this is that when you're done, it's always going to pop back over the sequence. Okay, so if you needed to edit that email, then you would just click edit. You can go down here and read it and kind of see how it looks right in line with this. Okay, so I'm going to close that up and click on save, and that sequence is going to be closed off. Okay, so you can see now that the sequence type is step and that we have no subscribers currently. That's going to change in a minute. And it's going to show how many emails have been sent from here. Now, inside of the lead magnet delivery sequence, let's say we want to add a second email. Okay, I'm just going to click on email, and I'm going to wait. Let's say we wait 2 days after the previous step, and I'm going to leave it at immediate. I'm going to say I want to send a new email. Well, this time I don't have to create a new one. I can actually go from an existing email. So I'm going to go from that SOSF welcome, and it's going to automatically copy that so that the formatting will be exactly the same. So if you did add images or logos or anything like that, it's going to be in there. So I'm going to change the name, and this is going to be reminder, just like we said over here, right? Day 2 is going to be the reminder. So let's click on edit, and I'm going to change the text here, and I'm going to say, hi, first name. A couple of days ago, you downloaded, let's say you requested my free guide to awesome sauce. I think that's what we called it. I just wanted to check in and make sure you had a chance to download it. If not, here's the link again, just in case. And then I'm going to say here, I'm going to just edit. So you can see this is a lot easier. You don't even have to add links again. I also wanted to make sure you didn't miss out on this really cool offer. It's not something I've ever shared before, and I know it can make a big difference in your world. Click here to check it out. Again, so excited. You could still say that. I'd really love to hear back about the results you're getting. So hit reply when you get a minute. Now, why am I asking people to hit reply? Because anybody who replies to your emails, they're especially if they're like with Gmail, Hotmail, LiveMail, any of those email providers, as soon as they send an email directly to you, you become a trusted sender, and you're always going to end up in their inbox as opposed to like in their spam filter. So if you can get people to actually talk back to you, it's a really good thing. That's just a little email delivery tip. So that's what I'm doing here. So you can see I just went in, edited that just a little bit, and I'm going to click on the save button. And so now I've got 2 emails in my follow-up sequence. So you can see how quickly you could start to build up an email sequence, right? Because I could hit email again, and I could hit reminder. I could call it reminder 2. But I'm not going to do that because this tutorial is already bordering on crazy long. So I'm going to click on save. The other thing too is, like, if you feel like I'm going too fast right now, there are actually settings on the video, I think, that you can slow it down. And if not, you can always pause. Okay. So once this live stream is done, you can always pause, you can rewind and go back and watch things again. And also, like I said, if the interface has changed, there will be a link to the new video to show you how to do this in the new interface. So I'm going to click on the new buyer welcome sequence because we need to fix that too. And again, this is going to be a step sequence. So let's create a new step sequence. And the first thing we want to do again is to create a rule that gives them a tag. So I'm going to add tag. And you remember I went down to then do this, and I'm going to start typing tag. add contact to tag, and SOS buyer. All right, so I want to give them that tag. Now what I want to do is add, oh, hold on, I didn't finish naming my tag. Name my rule, so SOSF buyer. I just like to have it there so you can see what each thing is. All right, so the next rule I want to add is, if you remember our diagram, we need to stop those sales emails coming in. We don't want people to keep getting badgered about buying something that they already bought. So I'm going to add a rule that says, okay, we're going to remove a contact from a sequence, and that's, we're going to remove them from the SOS lead magnet delivery sequence. Okay, so the minute they buy, we want to stop sending those sales emails. So I'm going to call this remove sequence SOSF lead magnet delivery. Okay, so we've got the one rule here that we're adding the tag that they're a buyer, and we're also going to remove them from the sales sequence. Next, we want to put an email in here, and because we want to welcome them and say they made a great buying decision. I'm going to say new email because we haven't created it yet, but we're going to copy it from an existing email. We're going to take it from the welcome or the reminder. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. We're going to rename it, of course, and we're going to call this one, I think we're going to call it new buyer welcome. Okay, so we got our new buyer welcome email. So in here, you want to give the product delivery details. So if they, they get access to a membership site, or they get access to like your ebook or whatever it is, whether it's being delivered, you just have to let them know what to expect in here. So let's change out all this stuff. Thanks so much for your purchase of my awesome product. Okay, and this is going to be your awesome product. I know it's going to make a huge difference in your life, and I can't wait to hear about your success story. Here is all of the information you need to access your purchase. ... I'm going to leave that here because I don't know how you're delivering it, whether if you're shipping something or if you've got a membership site or if you're just like sending them an ebook, whatever, that's what you would say here. And then you might want to say something like, make sure you whitelist my email address so that you receive all future product updates. I don't want you to miss out on any of the goodies I have in store for you. Again, this is a way to make sure they keep opening your emails. So this is just a little copywriting trick for you. And I'm going to click save here. And I'm going to click done. Now, if you have a second product that's for sale, that something else, you can always send it, like talk to them about it here or a little bit further in the follow-up sequence. So I'm just going to click save here. And so you can see now that we've got that email complete. It's in here. Now we want to add the second email, and this is the day 2 check-in. So I'm going to go to email. And this one I'm going to do 2 days after the previous step. I'm going to send a new email. And I'm going to copy the existing, and I'm going to do this one, new buyer welcome, because that's what I'm copying it from. And you can see they all look the same. It makes everything so much easier, whether you're using a template or whether you're just using a very minimalist type of thing like I have. So this one I'm going to call new buyer check-in. All right. And in here, let's say, a few days ago, you purchased my awesome product. I just wanted to check in and see how it's going. So, how is it going? I seriously can't wait to hear about your success story. Here's the information you need to access your purchase. Let's just say, just in case you need it, here's the information you need to access your purchase. So like if you have a membership site, you might want to send them their login details again. Just because sometimes people buy stuff and they've got other things going on and they didn't access it, but you want to make sure that you keep following up with people so that they actually consume the content or they consume the product that they've purchased. The last thing you want to have happen is people buying things and not taking action, because then you don't get testimonials and you don't get people talking about how amazing your products and services are. So you actually want to keep talking to your buyers. It's really, really important that you stay in touch with them and follow up with them. So just keep prompting them to go back and go through the information. So in here, I'd probably say, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but in let's say it was a book, in the 3rd chapter, I talk about how I created my first $10,000 launch. I'm pretty sure you'll find it interesting. So make sure to log in, or make sure to flip over and check out that story. Geez, when you get a minute. Okay, so this is just not a copywriting course, but what I'm doing here is just encouraging people to go back and consume the content. It's really important you do that all month, okay? For at least 30 days, you want to follow up with your buyers. And the other thing too is that once a person has purchased from you, they're like, go ahead and add some sales emails that are just for your buyers. You know, maybe you offer them coupons or offer them special discounts because they've already purchased something from you. If you take good care of your buyers, they will take good care of you. That's how this stuff works. So I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of that. Now, something I've been forgetting to do with these emails, I'm going to go back and do it like off camera. You don't have to hang out with me to do it. But in the settings, I wasn't updating the settings, right? So all of them say your free download as requested. So what I want to do is just go into the settings and say, this one I'm just checking in. Okay, and then I'm going to change this and say, let's say copy from HTML. Yes. It's going to pull in the email. And I'm going to just grab this right here. And I'm going to copy it and I'm going to put it in here. Okay, so I just wanted to check in and see how it's going. And I'm going to save that because we want to make sure that that we have the right headline in here. Okay, so we've created the new buyer welcome and the new buyer check-in. And so I'm gonna edit this one because we want to test it, and I don't want to test it and get the wrong thing that says your free download is requested. And you don't want to do that either because your buyers are not going to appreciate that subject line. So I'm going to edit that email. Are you finding this helpful yet? I hope you're finding this helpful. I'm going to show you in a minute how you can just import all this stuff into your account so you don't actually have to build any of it. I already built it, so you might as well take it from me. Okay? So I'm going to go into the settings again, and in here I'm going to say congratulations, you're in. Okay, so this is the purchase. I'm going to copy from HTML and say yes. So it's pulling in the actual email, and I'm going to say, thank you for your purchase. You know what? Let's just say, congrats on your purchase. Here are your access details. Okay. So I'm going to click on save. Bada boom, bada bing. And what's really cool now is that if we flip over to our simple sales funnel page. We have created the lead capture page, the thank you sales page with a checkout on it. We've created the sales page with the checkout on it, the new buyer welcome page. We've also created the lead magnet welcome sequence that has the lead magnet welcome emails that encourage them to actually buy your product. And we've also created this new buyer welcome sequence over here that's going to stop these sales emails from happening. It's going to welcome your buyer and check in on them. Okay, so it's just a short sequence. You can add as many emails to the end of this as you want. I would encourage you to check in on your buyers for at least 30 days, okay, and probably beyond that. So we've done everything that we said we were going to do. It's all here. It's all created. And truthfully, I think it's really, really important that you have a map like this when you're building any kind of a sales funnel, because if not, you could easily miss a piece, right? It's almost like your checklist. So I would encourage you to have something like this. You're certainly welcome to take a snapshot of this page to go ahead and build your own if you want to. And, you could just build alongside of this video. You could build exactly what we just did. But what we want to do is just kind of flow through our process here before I tell you how you can get this actual sequence. Before I tell you how you can just download this into your Ontraport account, because it's going to be pretty awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do is go over to our sites, and I'm going to go to the opt-in page because that's where we're going to start. And I'm going to go to publish, go to the opt-in. I'm going to close this down. So you can see we've got our opt-in page. And I'm going to put my first name in here. This is going to be Donna Test. Okay. Actually, we don't need to do that. We'll just do Donna. And my email address I'm going to put in here is membership@donmars.com, because I actually want to receive the email. And I'm going to click download the guide. Okay, so our testing has revealed a faulty page. Let's fix it. I'm going to go back. This is the fun thing about doing things live, isn't it? Okay, so I'm going to cancel this. And what did I do wrong? I didn't set up the Smart Form to redirect correctly. So I'm going into Smart Form, Form Settings. And instead of using a default thank you page, I'm going to go to use this landing page. And we're going to select our SOS thank you sales page. That's where it's supposed to go. So that's what's going to happen. Okay, so I'm going to click on save it again. And this is like, actually, it's totally not a big deal. It's really, really easy to miss steps when you're building, and that's how easy it is to fix it. Okay, so I'm going to click the publish button again, so we've got a nice fresh page. And actually, when you're testing in Ontraport, one of the things that's really important, I'm going to actually open it up and show you. I'm going to grab this link. And I'm going to go over here. I'm building in Firefox. I would highly recommend you use Firefox or Chrome always. But I'm going to go to a new private window, and that's actually going to clear the cache and cookies so that I'm not going to have like weird tracking issues because I'm logged into Ontraport. So I'm going to just open the page, and I'm going to enter my name again, and this time I'm going to be Donna. Actually, I'm just going to do the same thing because I'm already on the sequence. Once a person is on a sequence, they can't receive it more than once, so that's totally fine. So I'm going to click download the guide. And this time you can see that I was directed to the correct page. So thank you. Your free download is on its way. Before you go, check out this amazing offer. 5 secrets to a perfect offer packed with over 300 pages of strategies, tactics, and tips, right? You're going to put your awesome bullet points, get your copywriting hat on and do some copywriting. And then down here, I can actually make a purchase. So I set it up with a dummy gateway. So I'm actually going to go in here and set it all up. I'm going to use the same email address, billing information. Because I'm using a dummy gateway, which you can totally do when you're testing your stuff, I'm just going to do 123 Happy Days Lane. And billing city will be San Diego. State is California. Billing country is United States. Zip code is 92011. And then in payment information, if you're just using a dummy gateway in Ontraport, you may or may not know this, but it's a 4 with 15 ones, okay? So count them with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. CVV can be anything. And the expiry month just needs to be sometime in the future, so let's just pick a date in the future. So I'm going to click on purchase. can see now I'm taken to the new buyer welcome page, which was supposed to happen. Thank you. Your order has been processed successfully and your product access details are on their way to your inbox. Please allow up to 15 minutes for delivery. And then I've got, here's your free video. They can hit the play button and see it, share the love if you want them to be sharing the goodness with their friends. You can put some social sharing buttons in. So you can see all of the pages that we created worked. I'm going to assume that the emails did get sent because we did set all that stuff up correctly. Yeah, we did. Let's take a look anyway, shall we? Just hold on a second. I'll switch over my email. So here we are in my email inbox, and you can see here that I got the first one. Your free download as requested. Disregard the big black box. That's just because it's from my Sandbox account. So you can see here, hi Donna, thanks so much for requesting my free guide to awesome sauce. Click here to download the guide. So if you click on the guide, it's actually going to download the free giveaway because it was a PDF. It would download to their computer. I'm not going to actually download it, but you can see it's working. Now, if you're anything like my other clients, you would also love this. Click here to check it out. That should take them to the sales page so that they could actually purchase the product. And it does. Okay, and it's got the checkout page here so that they could actually make the purchase. So now if I go back, because I was also the person who made the purchase, you can see that I received my invoice that has all my order details in here. It's got your amazing product, the name of the product. It says how much it cost. It shows who it's shipping to and billing to and who it was sold by. All right, so that is all good. That worked properly. And I got congratulations, you're in. So hi Dawn, thank you so much for your purchase of my awesome product. I know it's going to make a huge difference in your life and I can't wait to hear about your success story. So our sales funnel is totally working. Now if I switch back over, let's just get out of this incognito tab and go back over here. I'm going to cancel out of this page and go to contacts. Yeah, that's okay. You can see now that in this group I've set up, so the way I have this group set up is that I only show people who either contain the tag lead, SOSF lead, or SOSF buyer. Okay, so I can see now that my email address is now in that group. And if you click on that contact, you'll see that I have both of those tags, right? I was a lead and now I'm a buyer. All right, so those are in here so that you can see that I'm on the SOSF new buyer welcome. I'm not on the previous sequence because it removed me. If you saw that both those sequences were still in there, then I would have done something wrong. But the fact that there's only one sequence because the new buyer welcome sequence worked and it removed me is exactly what was supposed to happen. Okay, so everything in here works. It took us about an hour to build this sales funnel. It might take a little bit longer because you got to do the copywriting. But if I was building this myself, I would be flying through it. I wouldn't be doing any of this, talking my way through it. And that's the way you'll be doing it too. When you're building yours, you're not going to be explaining it to anybody. You're just going to be building it. So here's what's really cool. This is something you can totally do on your own. And if that is what you want to do, if you're like a do-it-yourselfer type of person, I know I am, you are welcome to just follow along with this video, pause, rewind, go back to the beginning, and just follow along over my shoulder, build it exactly as I built it. It will totally work. But if you're somebody who loves to save time and you don't want to go through all of what we just went through, if you just rather have all of the pages already pre-made for you, then I have got a deal for you. Because as an Ontraport certified consultant, I actually have the ability to import all of this work that we just did together into your Ontraport account. So I'm not going to give you a big sales pitch. It's completely up to you if you want it. Yeah, that's what it comes down to. If you want to build it yourself, do that. If you'd like all of this to be imported automatically into your account, it'll come with all the rules, it'll come with the sequences, the pages, comes with the checkout pages, all that stuff. The only thing that you'll have to do is change out the branding, change the wording, and you'll be ready to go, okay? So if that is something that you would be interested in doing, let me take you on over and show you the link to do it, because we have a page where you can actually buy this sales funnel, and it's really inexpensive. It's going to save you a ton of time. So let me just hit play slideshow. Nope, that's not what we're going to do. Give me 1 second here. We're going to show the navigator, and this is the link that you need. marsmarketing.com/funnel. and you'll actually be able to go and purchase this funnel. And what you're going to do is, go through the process. I'll show you the page. Let's just go to it. That way, I can just tell you exactly what's going to happen. So you can see this is an Ontraport page, just like I recommend you set up. I host all my pages, all my checkout pages with Ontraport so that they will be secure and that I know I've got bank level encryption for when you guys decide to do your checkout process. You're going to go through here, and basically within 5 minutes, you're going to receive instructions via email to install this sales funnel directly into your Ontraport account. Okay, so you can go through here. You're going to see I'm just asking you for billing information, payment information. You can actually buy using PayPal if you prefer to do it that way. You just click that PayPal link. And for a very, very limited time, you can get it for $197. I don't know when you're watching this video. That's the thing about videos. They kind of live forever. So I can't guarantee that the price is going to be the same when you get there. But for right now, you can get it for just $197. I don't know what your time is worth to you, but I think probably for most people, this would be a steal of a deal to not have to build all these pages themselves. It's going to definitely save you a few hours. Might save you a few months, depending on who you are. I've got clients who this probably would save them a few years. So it's completely up to you what you want to do. That's marsmarketing.com/funnel if you want to get it done for you. Otherwise, you know what? Rewind this video, go back to the beginning, and build along with me. Either way, I will be so, so happy to hear about your success. Honestly, if you have gone through this and it's been helpful to you in any way, I would love to hear about it. I'm always excited to hear about success stories. I know this can make a big, big difference in your business and in your life and in your bottom line and your profitability. So if you would like to install this, go to marsmarketing.com/funnel. And it has been an honor and a privilege to hang out with you for this overly long tutorial. I hope that it has been helpful and has made a huge difference. I hope that you're having a fabulous day, and I hope to hear from you soon. And you know how to reach me if you need me. Have a great day. Hey there, this is Dawn Mars Ortiz, and I am so excited to welcome you to this live stream, How to Build a Sales Funnel with Ontraport. I get asked this question all the time. How do I build a sales funnel with Ontraport? And the truth is, it is probably a whole lot less technical than you currently believe it is. And Ontraport has some really, really awesome features that make it so simple and so easy to put together a sales funnel. And I'm going to show you that in just a minute, okay? I'm going to show you exactly. I'm going to actually build a sales funnel in front of you, and it's going to be awesome. So